Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started here today. I want to thank everyone for joining. We greatly appreciate it. We are excited to speak to you with EtherSpeak's new offerings. What we're going to be talking about is the Zultys MXv and how EtherSpeak and Wholesale can work for you. My name is Trip Masson. I'm your channel manager. After the presentation today, if anyone has any additional questions in regards to anything, please feel to reach out to me. Without further ado, I am going to introduce Neil Darling. He's our CEO here at EtherSpeak, and he is going to go through the presentation with everyone. Neil, are you there?
Yeah, thanks. Great trip. I appreciate it. So we had Steve and Sam and Mike, and there was a couple others. I'm just writing names down here. We had, who else do we have?
I believe we have Derek also, and I'm not sure who just joined in, if that person wants to go ahead and introduce themselves.
This is Terry.
Hi, Terry. Okay, great. So I'm Neil Darling. I am the founder of EtherSpeak. We had joined or became a VoIP provider going back upwards of 10, 11 years ago. But we initially we started as a value-added reseller selling Zultys solutions. And as early as about 2008, we became an ITSP, and we service really North America, which includes Canada, Mexico, and US of A. And as you see on the bottom of the slide, we do solutions specific for ShoreTel and Asterisk and Zultys and Cisco and Allworks and Link, and we do certify with those vendors for providing native and some native SIP trunking services, which primarily just means that we don't require any kind of hardware most of the time for our solutions. So we've been working with these partners for some time, and we have also been involved back in 2008 with hosting Zultys. We thought Zultys was a great platform that we had great success with. And in fact, our first solution that we deployed was for a real estate company here in Virginia. It started in 2004 and 2005, and we ended up. It took a long time to do, but it was the first rev that came out after the MX1200, and we put basically one company, 3 offices on a single MX250, which is not all that revolutionary by today's standards. But back then, we had done some things, and we actually got recognized with an InfoWorld top 10 ranking for the most innovative IT project for 2005. So I only mention that just because I think I bleed green and Manila or whatever the colors are of Zultys, yellow and green, a little bit in my veins. And a lot of things, even though we've integrated with a lot of partners and a lot of different IP PBX systems out there, we always tend to compare everything to Zultys, the magic little 2U box. In fact, it is our, the main phone system for EtherSpeak, and we do run our call center on it. And as of last year, even though we had done it previously, we recertified on Zultys and became a certified partner with them in the fall of last year. So since then, we've been on a recruiting mission. You may have seen some of our stuff to recruit either referral or commission or now white label partners. Today's focus is primarily on the path with us, and with particular focus on MXV and how that could add value to your business, particularly if you can find a way to bill for it and provide for taxing and local number portability and things like that. So what Zultys did was pretty revolutionary, and I don't take that word lightly. I've been around a little bit in this business, and the launch and the road show, I haven't been excited about anything in a long time, and I saw that and said, hey, this is a great opportunity. And it's a great opportunity not only because of the technology, but also for the value that it can provide to our partners' business, to our business, to Zultys' business. And one of the key points that they made during that briefing was that they're really interested in really making MXV a household name or a business name that's recognized. And each one of us that are on the call realize the value of an application that works as well on PC as it does on Mac and even potentially on Linux. And we have our challenges certainly out there in the market as you go try to deploy solutions for customers, and you have to compete against cloud-based services. So by the introduction of MXV, Zultys has provided options for either on-prem, hosted, or now both. And then they've even said, I don't want to say anything you don't know already, but you can either rent it, you can buy it, you can lease it, you can sell it on old hardware, you can mix it and match it between what's in the cloud and what's on-prem. Really from a reseller perspective where you're vested in Zultys, this is a really huge, huge revolutionary opportunity. So we've kind of, since the announcement, since the roadshow, have been sending out some marketing and other things to attract some people on. As you see today, we have 16 or so resellers on the phone, so we're happy to have you here with us today. But the components of the MXvirtual, if you don't know, is all the feature functionality. I said almost 100%, maybe even 99.9% of what you get on MX250, plus VMware, which is the platform of choice, at least initially, and then you have all the functionality that you have with deploying the solution on-prem. What makes it even more revolutionary is that they have allowed the pricing to be very, very competitive so they can get proper market penetration. So that flexibility, along with you being able to go to a customer and say, hey, VMware can be hosted by you, can be hosted by Zultys, can be hosted by the customer, or by another provider, even like EtherSpeak, you can really weigh the options to figure out what's the best solution for the customer. And if the customer is averse to hosted systems because they got burned in the past or they didn't have the functionality that they liked, you can deploy it on-prem. I mean, it's just really, I haven't seen this level of functionality where the cloud meets the on-prem in really 11 years. From our perspective, just graphically here, you'll see that we're EtherSpeak. We can host the platform, and you can weigh out whether you want us to do it, and we really don't care how it's done. But as an option, if you wanted, we would be able to host the VM for you. One of the advantages of doing that is that you're 3 feet away from our session border controller. So that's one advantage that we have over anybody else. But there may be other reasons that you want to, like I said, pick a different provider. Like if you do choose Zultys as an example, because it is something that they're offering, we do have the same network backbone that they do. So you're not traversing the whole internet. If you heard the briefing, you know that they're using internet, and we're on internet on both coasts, and that would work fine. If the customer or yourself wants to host it, you should talk to us, but that would be fine too in most cases. But the relationship here is that it's EtherSpeak and then you, and then obviously, as it's always been, your relationship with the client. What we want to do is to maybe add some more value for you as you approach a customer or a new customer with MXV, of how we can make that a different relationship where you can provide cost savings for the customers. You can increase the profit and particularly the annuity for you and your business, and then the opportunity for recurring revenue. And really what that is being able to offer phone systems and phone service, being able to handle the billing, being able not to worry about 911, being able to be in control of local number portability, even to an extent of not having to worry about some of the tier 1 issues that come up with cloud-based systems. So if a customer has a problem, we could potentially provide a service for tier 1 and tier 2 support to keep you focused on selling MXV out down to the customer world. Okay, next slide. So you can add our certified SIP really to any MX. We've done the app note, and we've recorded on YouTube. It's really as simple as really 2 steps. So you just simply add, even in a basic SIP trunking scenario, you add a URL as a primary, which is sip.etherspeak.com or sip.etherspeak.com, and then it's SIP2. So one covers one coast, one covers the other coast. So if you're on the West Coast, you would use SIP2 first, and you use SIP as the backup, and then vice versa. If you're on the East Coast, you use SIP, and then use SIP2 for the backup. Once you do that, you have to add it to the dial plan, and you can begin sending and receiving phone calls, and that's in coordination with our team to be able to put the public IP of the MX250 in. Now there are some steps along with the SBC functionality and other things that may have to be done, but that's not as involved with the MXV. It's really that straightforward with the MXV, is that you just have to add the URLs into the system. Right now it's our URLs, but what we're talking about here is the potential to have your own URLs, your own private label system with Zultys. And the last point here is that the internet that we're using is a 6-tier. It's outsourced BGP essentially, and it's the same solution, coincidentally, that Zultys deployed from a company called InterNAP. And what InterNAP does, in a really quick version, is they measure the latency from, for every packet that comes in. They measure and see where those shortest paths, through one of 6 different carriers. So if there's a failure on one carrier, obviously you're going to pick from 5. But if there's latency on 4, it basically will pick the quickest path to that carrier back to the customer. So as customers come on, very good broadband and other things, SIP trunking becomes more and more viable because the customer can leverage their existing, investment in internet and firewalls and stuff like that. But us providing InterNAP gives you a way to be assured that the best internet connection you can possibly have, at least on the carrier side of things, is done. And then lastly, you have an option to sell our SIP as wholesale or white label. And really what that means is we take our pricing, our price book, everything that if you're familiar and you're a partner of ours already, you're familiar with our price deck. When you get to a certain level and you say, hey, I really like this, I have a handle on this, and I really do buy into the concept of selling a phone system with phone service all under my brand, then you're ready for this. Because this will enable you to take the customers that are SIP trunking customers and be able to deploy your bills, your remit to address, with properly formatted bills, properly taxed bills, fully compliant 911 service down to your customers. You'll be able to easily add and manage customers through a portal that only you can access, and then the customers have their own portal with your URL that they can access and see their account. You can monitor real-time usage. You can look at profitability. Is a customer profitable or not? Where are we at with it? Are we making money? Aren't we? Based on that type of customer, and have real-time information is based on what the customers are doing. In addition, you'll be able to automatically bill customers by your brand, and with your merchant account, you'll be able to have the customers pay their bills online and have it deposited into your bank account, and that supports any really one of, I think, 22 different merchant accounts, authorized.net and other ones. So we simply would provision your merchant account in the online bill portal to be able to have the customers, if they like, get the bill, click a link, come back to your URL, really to our infrastructure, but to your host name, and then log in either by PayPal or by credit card. They could pay their bill in a timely manner. From the diagram, you see that how it looks is very transparent to the customers. We're not deceiving them, but all of this is running on EtherSpeak's backbone, EtherSpeak's hardware, just like we've been doing for over 5 years. With the capability for outsourced billing, we just didn't have the opportunity with MXV to be able to deploy, really by clicking a mouse, a new virtual machine, and then offer you the opportunity to be able to sell that under your own brand. Because that's what we've heard from our partners is that, hey, when you have that capability and the licensing makes sense and it allows me to position this as a one neck to choke for my customers, really to the advantage of the customers, and give you all the power that we have to be able to push SIP out to the edge as far as you possibly can, is really a good opportunity. So here's an example. We have we call it the VAS portal. It's kind of hard to see, but we can actually, I don't know if we can zoom in on that. I'm not sure how well it shows up on your screen. But this is the extent of the portal where you can, if you look right in the third column there, you'll see the DID inventory. You can have DIDs in there from really all of the USA. We have about 97% of the USA. We have about 80% of Canada. We can bill in multiple currencies, so if you want to bill in Canadian dollars, you can do that. If you want to get paid in Canadian dollars, you can do that, particularly through PayPal or through Visa, MasterCard. And it allows you to basically manage your customers through this portal. You basically enter the information and you apply from their signed agreement or whatever, the proper rate plan, and then you will add the MX250 IP address, and you add some account information, particularly the DIDs that you're going to add to the account. Once you do that and save it, the customer is active. So go to the next one for me. You can basically assign numbers from the USA and Canada and 50 countries. We also offer toll-free service from 50 countries. as well as toll-free service in the USA and in Canada. So if you need Puerto Rico numbers or Alaska numbers or Guatemalan numbers or Thailand numbers or UK numbers, Ireland numbers to ring through to a customer PBX, particularly the Zultys system or the MXV. As you see on here, the invoice comes out of the system. We'll design it with your logo and your information to make it look just like your current invoice to the best of our ability. And then with your information and the QuickBooks integration, those invoices get imported into your QuickBooks. Hopefully you use QuickBooks, so that is the only accounting software that we do. But you don't have to retype the invoices and put them in QuickBooks so that you can manage your financials. These will just be imported in, whether the customers are on daily billing or they're on monthly billing or quarterly billing or whatever, however you may have it set up with them. As an overview, we basically have a real-time billing engine that connects to online payment processors, as well as being able to have a radius engine that authorizes the calls, enforces credit limits, which we pass down to you. So if you have a case where somebody comes in and uses we've had this with our own host of customers where somebody will break into an MX and get into a user account, and then the account has international enabled and make a bunch of phone calls. The system does have real-time credit limits in place that you will control, and if a customer doesn't pay, you'll have the ability to turn them off as a result of them exceeding those limits. We've seen that particularly with fraud cases where somebody may make a bunch of international calls and exceed their credit limit, and then the system automatically shuts down to limit the damage. We have the capability for prepaid cards, but in this particular case, you see the IPPBX up top. That's where the Zultys MXV would be, and then you'd be able to basically offer the service to them by basically provisioning the MXV or having us do it or having Zultys do it, putting the URL in for you, and then on the back end side provisioning the customer information, their location, the 911 information, the bill plan, and then putting their MXV public IP address in. And then you'd be able to route calls inbound and outbound as a result of that. In addition, we have other products that we're bringing online that you may be interested in. One is a residential product that's coming out probably this summer that is called Terraphone. A Terraphone is a service that we're pushing out regionally here in the DC area that allows customers to have a primary local phone number and a secondary international number that dials in. So if you have folks that are from other countries or have relatives in other countries or they're military, when you dial your normal number, it dials in, but you also can give that local number, the local international number, to your grandmother in Mexico City, and she can dial that number and also ring your home phone. So it's kind of a Skype bypass. It's a fixed fee type offering, and it's not online yet, but for our wholesale customers, you'll be able to offer that in your area to your customers as we bring new products online. So why is it good? It's a turnkey solution. I say that, but it involves a little bit to turn the key. Obviously, you need some training. We do require a bit of a path for our customers. We'll talk about the next slide or so. But you go from a reseller partner to a commission partner to a wholesale partner. And you get some experience with that, certainly with us. You can go back, Rob, but I'll do that next. Go back. But the bottom line is that it's easy to manage. You don't need to be an expert on our side of the business to be able to provide phone systems and phone service to your customers. And as the last option, if you want, we provide Tier 1 and Tier 2 support around the MXV for your customers. So if they have a telecom related question, they need a number ported, or they're having problems that involve changing the IVR on their MXV, we can handle a lot of that because we've been using it for so long. So from a partner standpoint, this is not free, but it's not expensive. But as an option, you can bolt on support, and we're happy to do it. And we're trying to do this as a way to enable you to get market share and really focused on a very smooth transition into the cloud-based business. With a platform that we think is going to sell really, really well, but also not slow you down with worrying about taxes and compliance and other issues like that. We want you focused really on the customer, and then working jointly with our team that if someone has to roll a truck, you're the one that would roll it in the local area, but you can be assured, as well as having the calls recorded, that you're getting the best support that can be provided with folks that are very familiar with the Zultys platform. So what's the path? I'll give you an idea. If you want to make referral commissions, and what a referral commission, and we get these all the time, where someone says, "Hey, I have a customer, it might be a good fit." We basically will cut you. We have a promotion with Amazon gift cards, or 25% of the as a one-time fee for or payment to a salesperson or to a rep, or anybody who makes a referral to us, and saying, "Hey, here's a good SIP trunking customer or potential prospect." Once there's 3 of them, you have to sign a VAR agreement. So at that point, you're eligible for commissions, and they work out to be about 15% of the monthly recurring revenue once there's 3. And to become a commission partner, you have to go through a webinar. It's a sales, and it's about 3.5 to 4 hours worth of training that's done online with our sales and our tech team, where we pull back the covers and kind of reveal, everything that you need to know about SIP trunking, about firewalls, about the SBC functionality in the Zultys. We go through really everything on the tech side, and then also on the sales side, we'll talk a little bit more about the products, but we kind of teach you what we know about selling the cloud-based service, selling the fax service, selling the MPLS service, and anything that you may want to offer from us. You go through the sales training with your, could be your experienced salespeople or your junior salespeople, to give them a good basis for providing SIP as a method or a means to getting a deal done. Once you get to 10, and this is the magic number, the commissions real well, our services real well because you've sold 10. Your tech people know exactly how we work because they've done 10 of them. We'll take every one of those residual commissions and we basically put them in your bucket, and you'll get 100% of the revenue as a result of that. And you enter into a new type of relationship with us where we'll build the portal for you, and you will basically pay for the minutes on the back end. But you'll offer our same pricing that we offer to our retail customers through our partners. You'll have that option to now take over those customers in a direct way. So it gives you a path for growth with us, where you have, as this graph shows here, that you referral up to 3. You get a thank you payment from us for making the referral. Once you get to 3, then you're eligible for those first 3 and beyond, 3 to 10 for commission, and anything beyond 10 plus, we actually move all of that revenue over into your own bucket to get you going on the wholesale level. What we're looking for is 3 wholesale partners by the end of the summer. Right now, it's from now to the end of the summer, and then we're looking for 10 regionally dispersed partners by the end of the year. Once we get to 10, we will not sell direct anymore. We will actually refer any of our leads, and we get a lot of them from our website and others, directly out to our partners. And we will go completely wholesale, only working through partners, and then we'll expand that based on territory, because it won't be, obviously by state or anything like that. But we're looking for partners who are interested in joining into an ITSP program where there is some growth potential, and there's some, as you find yourself interested and ready to do something like this, that you're able to see a growth path in doing it and working very closely with us, because we know the platform and we know the numbers, to help you get some business closed, and then certainly find a way to support it and make sure that you don't have any headaches as it relates to the billing and the back end. So to get started, you can add SIP to any MX. We have a way to make that easy for our customers, and even for you guys if you want. We have a thing called MX1K. And this is an offshoot. We did a Link 1K because we're Microsoft certified, and we had really great success with it. What MX1K is a way you send this link to your customers and say, hey, fill out the form. All they have to do is fill out the form, and we tell you that we'll have them turned up and provisioned in an hour. They get 1,000 minutes for free. They get 5 concurrent call paths. They get 1 virtual number. We have a 70% conversion rate when this gets passed out. So if you want to pass it out to your customers and say, hey, we want you to do this, we're happy to come in and configure the MX. If you don't have time to do it, if you want to give us access to it, that would be great. But once we do this and the customers discover how good it is, the quality it is, they convert very, very easily. And our team for the first 3 deals will do all the work, because we just want to show you how it's done. We want to show you tech team how it's done to try to get you to 3 so you start getting commissions, and possibly to 10 if you want to do it. But the same sort of concept that we have on the MX1K could be on your website when you get to wholesale level, to allow you to push it out to your customer base, get them to kick it and try it, and hopefully have the same conversion rate with us. The recurring revenue opportunity is very, very, very significant because we sell on subscription. So we have 1 year or 2 year or 3 year subscriptions. Those same subscriptions, the same paperwork, and would get passed to you when you get to the wholesale level. We do a find and replace on the name on the contracts because they're very enforceable with the customers. And they're reasonable, but they're enforceable to make sure the customers realize that there's an obligation. But again, from a customer's perspective, it's good to do this because we do have a setup fee of $249. We waive the setup fee if they go and work through the trial. So if they go take the free trial and then convert before the end, they can basically save $250. There's some incentive for them to do it. For you, it enables you to really push out the link and have the customers try it out. And again, if we can get 3 going, you're on commission right away. And I certainly encourage you to be very familiar with the system and how we work before you move to the wholesale platform. Second is the commission. So once you get to the commission level, which is 3, you have to approve the VAR agreement, which isn't onerous or anything like that. But in part with the VAR agreement, you have to go to training. So we have to make sure that your salespeople, yourself, and then in a separate webinar, your tech people complete the training and get all their questions answered and how it works. And if you want to initially sign up for the MX1K and try it yourself, just like a customer would, I encourage you to do that. But after you do experience it and say, hey, this is really great quality, then or see some opportunity from going through the sales training and getting the pricing explained, then you're well on your way to doing this. And to do that, you just simply contact Trip. There's his phone number, or you can email him, or you can email sales at EtherSpeak or sales at EtherSpeak.com, and we're happy to get that scheduled for you if you want to sign up for the training or you want to review the VAR agreement. Last is the wholesale. The catch here is there's no real cost to the training or anything like that, but we want you here. So we have MXs in the lab. We have every kind of phone that you can imagine. We have multiple internet connections. We demonstrate SIP trunking and then the VoIP service, very hands-on training, and it includes also sales and tech, and then also the back end, the integration, the products, how to set up a customer, how to handle certain configurations with customers. We offer a lot of different products that fit really well with customers, and it's really key to the matrix of products that you deliver to a service. If you can say, hey, this customer wants MXV, but they also want fax to email, they also want call center, they also want redundancy. You can come up with certain options to price on a per user basis, but the best way to do that is we have a big training facility here, and you can come out to Virginia. We'll take good care of you while you're here. But it takes one partner at a time, and we want 10, so that's why we're limiting it to 10 partners this year to get them out and get them through trainings. And when they go back and return to your office on Monday, you should be ready to go to sell wholesale MXV, have the billing all set up and ready to go, have it integrated to your QuickBooks, and really be ready to rock and roll. And then we will support you on the sales side as well as on the engineering side with anything that you might need to get going. If you don't understand VMs, we have experts on staff, and they'll help get things provisioned regardless of where you want to put it. But we're hoping for a win-win with our new VARs to at least give them a path, which is unlike any other ITSP that we're aware of. We have this program around really one product that we think is going to really sell well to come up with a solution that makes sense to our partners. A little overview on the products. So we have our retail products are called SuperVox and StarterVox. So as Zultys said during the roadshow, really anything they're looking for MXV customers that are at least 20 or more, which is probably the only limitation that gives me pause because 20 is a lot. But as you guys know, I'll give you a 20 user system would probably cost about $25,000. Now that they have this flexible pricing, it's going to be a lot lower than that. So you have the opportunity with SuperVox to sell on a per user basis, either basic, which is StarterVox, which is just hey, they just want a phone, they don't really want MXV. We offer that as a solution, and then we also offer layering on solutions around by feature by user. So if they want a call center user, or they want call recording, or they want encryption, based on it being a medical facility or a corporation, publicly traded corporation, and encryption is required, we can support each one of those, and we augment the pricing to the customer based on what they actually need. So SuperVox is our VoIP, and our Starter Vox is more for the sub 20 market. But we certainly will talk to Zultys if you have an opportunity that's smaller than that, to allow that to go if it's less than 20 users, and there's certainly revenue in there for them if they do it, because they're just basically selling software at that point. From the SIP trunking side, we support multiple vendors, and that includes hardware. So if we want to deploy it with encryption, we work very closely with the firewall vendors to deliver encryption over IPsec. Or if you want to use a gateway, and I know some of the SIP providers only sell it with a PRI handoff, we work very closely with Adtran and them to do it. But you also have the flexibility of the DIDs, direct inward dial numbers from really anywhere in the USA virtually, and Canada, and as well as 50 countries around the world. There's no extra cost to the DIDs. There actually is a higher recurring cost on it, meaning the DIDs are more expensive from other countries, but on the usage level, we don't charge anything additional for an inbound minute, from Guatemala than we do from, Utah. And then last, as I mentioned, the encryption. It's something that's not really supported on the MX right now, but we do support it. So if you do have a client that requires it, we can augment the solution a little bit to make sure that their traffic to their MXV or from their SIP trunking or MX based on-prem does support encryption, so that we can meet that requirement of the customer. And a lot of our partners and competitors don't do that. In addition, augmenting features, we 100% support 100% reliable fax machine faxing. We have a special ATA, an audio codes ATA, that encrypts the fax, but also guarantees it's 100% reliable. So you don't have any issues with losing a good customer because 98 of 100 pages get through, but 2 of them don't, and you ruin a good relationship with a customer based on faxing. We have MPLS options where we can, if a customer has 10 sites of AT&T, we can be the 11th site and plug into any Tier 1 provider in the country on behalf of your customer. We also have a private label MPLS solution if you want to export. It's a Tier 1 solution with Level 3, but if you have an MPLS opportunity, we can wholesale price MPLS if you give us the sites and the speeds that you want for that, and that's a good way to make a lot of revenue based on what competitively the customer may be looking at. We have disaster recovery options. We have conference bridge options. We have, we call it shadow box mirroring options available for customers, where if the MX fails, we can mirror their MX in the cloud and get them back up and working, and other things like that. So I mentioned all that. A lot of these things are, on our website if you're interested in them. If you want specific training on them, that's why it's a 2-hour sales webinar, because we go through each of the products and how to sell them as part of the commission partner program. Any questions? I tried to keep this. We got started a little bit late to 30 minutes. Any questions I can answer? Steve, come on. You have one question.
I don't think I have any questions yet, Neil. I've got my partner Travis here with me. He's been listening in too.
Now, did you guys?
I'll have some questions.
No,
I'm just a little bit of it. I will have some questions down the road. You mentioned a 2-hour sales presentation, right?
Yeah. If you sign the VAR agreement, this is what happens. So if you want to make a referral, you can just make a referral anytime. Say, hey, and I do encourage you in your office to go to EtherSpeak.com/MX1K and sign up as if you were a prospect, and and get the emails and try out the service, just as if we get a free 1,000 minutes on us. Anybody who signs up as, and I should mention this because it wasn't on the slide, anyone from this call, because we're going to do a call this week and then a call next week. who signs up as a commission partner, that means that you're going to get to 3 deals, and there's time to get there, and we'll help you get there. But we're going to give $900 worth of service through the end of the year. So you'll be able to get free SIP trunks from us, to a max of $900 through the end of the year for anybody who signs up as a commission partner through the end of the year. And then the third step, like I said, is you got to get to 10 customers for the wholesale. We'll help you get there, and we just need leads and people that you want us to work with to help get your customers converted over. And then we would schedule your training at a mutually agreeable time. We get you to DC or to you fly into DC airports and come stay with us for a week. Let us treat you as a guest and put you through training on this recurring revenue and the white label solution. And really, your brain's going to hurt by the end of the week. But by the time you leave here on Monday, you'll be ready to start selling this thing on Monday and be able to bill it, be in compliance, and really have everything that we offer to our customers you're going to have, but without any of the headaches, because we're still going to take care of the back end, and we potentially will take care of the support.
So Neil, this is Steve. If we have a prospect that's less than 20 users, did you say you have the ability to spin it up, or do you have to go to Zultys and go to bat for it?
Yeah, I have to go to bat for it, but I'll tell you, I talk with them a lot because we've been promoting the heck out of this. I don't think anybody else has latched on this quite like we have. I'm sure the likelihood of getting deals done now is higher than later, but we have a lot of things in our bag. So even if it's a small customer, maybe it's a small customer that doesn't want MXV, we have other ways of getting it done. So I think in the short term, if you have immediate opportunities, I think it's kind of like Zultys does with the certified SIP providers in that they want it done, but they don't decline business. But I do see, if you do the math in your head, I mean, they would get $150 a month with a 20-user deal. It's not a lot of money for what the customer's getting. And as they describe in the roadshow, at least Steve Francis did, they want market share. So they really want everybody pushing this out. And really why we stepped up is to say, hey, if we could come up with a turnkey way to make you do it in a compliant way and make it not be a headache for your back office, that would be a good thing. So any opportunity you have, I would say, please just bring it up, schedule the training with us, get the VAR agreement signed, kick the tires on the trial, make sure you're comfortable with what we're offering and what we'd potentially offer to your customers. And then in the very least, you become a commission partner with us. But at the very most, if you guys talk about it internally and say, hey, this has got real potential for us to bill, tens of thousands of dollars a month if we get going with it. I mean, I'm telling you, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go down my list. Sam, no questions, Sam?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Neil. Thanks. What is the minimum number of seats are you looking for each 10 customers we're bringing in?
So we're a little more flexible, and I really am just echoing what I heard from Zultys. So I think they're basing it on 20. Our experience has been that the sweet spot is probably between 5 and 15. To be honest with you, I mean that's where we see a lot of low-hanging fruit with customers that would be all over this. So we're if you have an opportunity and you want us to work on it, that we can go to bat with them and help get it done. And particularly if it's like I said, they're looking for a lot of customers very, very quickly to show the viability of them doing this with this revised pricing, renting, buying, mixing up on-prem versus in cloud. So from our perspective, we're really looking for a minimum of 5. From their perspective, they're looking higher than that. But I will say, as you guys know, this is just software. I don't know if they really care. I think maybe the 20 might have been around them hosting it in their facility. But on our facility, we don't really care because it's just a VM, and we have room for 150 of them right now. So we don't on either coast, so it's 300 potentially. Right now as we sit, we haven't had any hardware or done anything. So we would like to fill those up as quick as possible based on customers, and then really initially, like I said, we're looking for 3 partners by the end of the summer. Those partners we're going to be all over them to make sure it goes really well because we want them singing the praises, saying, hey, they got 7 more spots by the end of the year. Go through the training, go do this, or hey, they had a rough spot here with this, but it ultimately turned out good. because we haven't done anything like this with the VMs. We've hosted MX250s in the cloud for a long time, but we haven't done with the VM. So I think everybody is, obviously everybody's business is a little bit different, but we're very optimistic that with all the talent that we have here at EtherSpeak, that we'll be able to do a really good job for the new partners that come on.
Hey, Neil.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yes, sir.
It's Norm. How you doing?
Hey, Norm.
I met with Neil and Steve after the road show in Orlando, and I think they took a closer look at the below 20 market opportunity, and I think you're going to see some movement on the on that 20 number.
Yeah, I hope
on
so.
Their side.
I think they kind of, and Vladimir was the one who presented on that, but I think from a hosting perspective, you really, he wants at least $150 a month. I mean, $200 a month. I don't think I blame him, but I think that's where that came from. But my sense as well, Norm, is that there's some flexibility there, and I just think it's demand. We've never really had, as you've been around as long as I have, not longer, we've never had an opportunity quite like this to go with a fully fledged MX and go to the customer and say, hey, what do you want me to do? You want me on-prem? You want to hear? You want to buy it? You want to lease it? You want to rent it? It's just Zultys has really stepped up with this, in my opinion, and really there should be no barriers. So the one barrier that we saw, and it does benefit us, right, is, hey, how do we build this thing, and how do we take care of the taxes, and how do we worry about 911? And we have all that covered. We've been doing it for years. Our platform supports it, and it does mean you have to SIP trunk with us, right? But other than that, we're trying to give the partners a potential path for working with us, and certainly benefiting from our mutual experience with successfully selling the MX250 to customers through the past 10 years.
How are you going to be setting up the level 1 and level 2? That's what intrigues me, because in that market share, I mean, to me that's just quicksand.
Oh yeah, it's a great question. So what we're doing is again for the wholesale partners, at your option, we're going to set up a toll-free number, and then we're going to ask you to program, or we'll do it, 511 on the phone. So if the customer wants to have a question about MXV, or the automated tenant's not right, and they want the schedule changed, or all that stuff that you got to do stuff on, you can tell them to call 511, and it'll say, hey, thanks for calling, Acme, whatever, and it'll mirror your automated tenant to the best of our ability. We do run the business on an MX, so it would be, it would be recorded. You'd have access to it. You could listen to the calls. We have a ticketing system called Zendesk that we use, and we would make it a joint system. We can do multi-tenants on that. So as tickets come in, you would be copied on tickets related to your customers and watch the dialogue between the tier 1 and the people, and as well as we have tier 2 on things that come up. If it doesn't make sense or it's out of scope, meaning you say, hey, I want to handle this because I don't want to burn your time on this, we would refer those things to you through the ticket, and then you would be able to handle it. But particularly with MXV, we'll be able to handle most of the issues that come up and do them hopefully a lot quicker than you can do yourself, because you have your experienced people maybe doing installs and other things, and and we think it'll work just fine, just because we've been doing VoIP support for 10 years. And on the fee side, the way it works is you buy 10 hours. So you buy 10 hours. And as you need porting, as you need help with this, maybe you need help with sales engineering, they burn from those 10 hours of time. And then, if you exceed it, then we say, hey, you need another 10 hours, but you still keep your overhead low. So you're getting really every aspect of EtherSpeak, that you want to employ using those 10 hours for anything, get burned, and they're uniform rates. So that's what we've worked out as a way to take care of the tier 1, to allow people to get out on the street and sell a little bit more. Does it mean all your legacy customers? No, it just means maybe the new MXV customers, or any SIP trunking customers that you want to give them this toll-free number that would be your name when they answer the phone, but the folks would know that it's a Norm's customer versus anybody else's customer, and then deal with it accordingly. Does that make sense?
So that's still getting billed out basically on a time and materials basis to the end user then.
Yeah, initially, yeah. I mean,
they're not service agreements.
No, they would be. I mean, as far as because it would be a discussion about what do you want us to handle versus what do you want to handle. But certainly for a smaller VAR, or yourself, you're better, architecting solutions than providing support. You could open your customers up to this, and we're guaranteeing that 70 to 75% of the issues that you're dealing with that people call on, we can get resolved. Certainly the issues that deal with porting or deal with call quality or deal with a bad internet connection, and we're going to deal with it anyway. But in this way, we're dealing with it as you're really an extension of your company. We're not trying to deceive the customer, but we're going to answer the phone with your name on it, and it's going to be your automated attendant that they hit. So we figure it's a good way to accelerate people to be able to go out and just focus on selling and deployments and a little less on the back end, because we can certainly handle that if they want us to.
Got it. Okay, great.
I'm going down the list. Derek, any questions, Derek?
I'm kind of in y'all's bracket. I've been hosting Zultys and doing it for quite some time, so I don't really have questions on the webinar per se. I have further questions that I'll call you all about later.
Okay.
But I'm all over it.
No, great. Yeah, if you want anybody wants my direct dial, I'm happy to give it to you if you want. It's not on, or maybe it is. That's not my direct dial, but it's 703-649-0025. And I'll close on this. I really think that it's an opportunity. Norm knows I don't pipe up all the time, so if he hears me posting something on the board, I'm not supposed to do that. But I really got something to say. I really am excited about this. I think it's going to change a lot of lives here for the better for Zultys doing this. I think it's courageous what they're doing. I don't want to overplay that, but they're taking a big gamble by doing this, and I really think if people can see the merit in it, and they say, hey, we have some concerns, call us about what's holding you up from doing it, and perhaps we can fill in some gaps and do it. Like I said, in the meantime, if you want to test us out, or if you had tested us out a couple of years ago and you want to do it again, go ahead and sign up on the MX1K just like your customer would. If you want anything special from Trip, you want more numbers or whatever, we're happy to do that. So just to make sure, and if you do sign up as a partner, a commissioned partner by the end of the month, and you're willing to get to 3 customers, that will be something that we're going to push for. But we'll give you $900 of free service through 12/31. So you'll be able to really use us to run your business. If it saves you some money, allows you to eat your own porridge, as they say, because you're going to be on EtherSpeak all the time. Potentially, that's a good thing, because you'll see that it is that reliable. It is really that good. The call quality, I don't know what else we could do to make it any better than what we've done already. So we're anxious to have more Zultys VARs like we have Microsoft and ShoreTel. We really have very few since we certified in the fall. So anything I can do to sort of make this thing a reality for people, I'm more than willing to do. So again, I appreciate your time today. If there's any other questions, anyone? All right, I'll hand it back to Trip. Trip, you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here, Neil. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
If anyone has any questions or in regards to pricing or anything of that nature, please